Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are strapping in and focusing on what is probably the single most high-stakes routine maneuver you perform behind the wheel, overtaking.
Right.
We really want you to stop seeing this as just a simple press of the gas pedal.
Exactly. Our source material makes it so clear that overtaking is an action where, confidence has to be tempered by some really rigorous caution.
It's more than just speed.
Oh, absolutely. It demands razor-sharp judgment, impeccable timing, and just a complete awareness of the world around you, space, sightlines, acceleration, all of it.
And our mission for you today, for you, the listener, is to stop treating this as an instinctual move and start treating it like the highly calculated, high-risk physics problem it truly is.
Yeah.
We want to give you the tools to significantly improve your decision-making in those critical, 10-second windows.
And we've synthesized all the crucial data. The specific subtle risks that drivers often miss, the optical illusions the road design throws at you, the actual math you need for a safe pass, and of course the legal boundaries you have to respect.
So where do we start?
We're starting with the highest possible price tag. The physics of, well, ultimate failure.
Let's get straight to it then. The inherent danger in passing is, of course, the possibility of a head-on collision. Our sources were very clear that statistically, head-on collisions have one of the highest fatality rates.
They do.
But why? Why are they so universally deadly?
It all comes down to kinetic energy and force concentration. This isn't just two cars hitting each other.
No.
It's the speeds of both vehicles being combined instantly.
And this is where that quick physics lesson becomes so incredibly relevant.
It is. I mean, consider the math. If you're traveling toward an oncoming vehicle and you're both moving at a pretty moderate speed, say 50 miles per hour,
Okay.
the kinetic energy released on impact is equivalent to you striking a stationary concrete barrier at 100 miles per hour.
100. So it literally doubles.
It doubles the impact force, and that is what overwhelms a car's safety systems.
That concentration of force is so deadly because it utterly compromises the vehicle's ability to protect you. A modern car, it's designed to dissipate energy from a single high-speed impact, but not.
Not a true doubling of speed. Precisely. The energy has nowhere to go. You have very limited escape paths, the force is concentrated front to front, and crucially, there's virtually no distance for you to decelerate or take evasive action.
So the crumple zones just can't keep up.
You can't. Which means those forces are instantly transmitted to the passengers. The vehicle's crash absorption is just maximized. When speeds combine like that, you get severe internal injuries, and often you get vehicle intrusion right into the cabin space itself.
So understanding that 50 plus 50 equals 100 in terms of impact, that is fundamental.
It's fundamental to giving this maneuver the gravity it deserves.
Okay, so building on that risk profile, let's unpack the specific environmental and behavioral issues. We found 5 critical factors drivers have to think about beforehand.
These are the scenarios that can turn a seemingly clear road into a trap. Let's start with number 1, also overtaking.
What do the sources mean by that? Are we talking about the car in front of us, or?
It's both, and it's a classic blind spot error. It's the danger that another vehicle, either one trailing you or maybe one farther up ahead, decides to start a pass at the exact same moment you do.
And they might not see your signal, or you don't see them start to move.
Exactly. So the key defensive technique here is checking that side mirror, not just for oncoming traffic, but for the aggressive driver right behind you who might be starting their move too.
Got it. Okay, what's the second factor?
The re-enter gap. Most drivers, they focus entirely on clearing the vehicle they're passing, but they completely forget the critical final stage.
Right, the pass isn't over until you're safely back in your own lane. You need space to finish.
You need sufficient space between the vehicle you just passed and the next car on your side of the road. If you have to cut someone off to get back in, you haven't succeeded safely. And remember to signal before you re-enter your lane, not just before you leave it.
Risk number 3 is turning. This sounds simple, but the implication is terrifying.
It is. The vehicle you're passing might just suddenly turn off the road without indicating. Or they signal so late that you're already committed, you're right alongside them.
And suddenly they're braking and turning right in front of you.
And you have a collision risk where you expected clear sailing. That's why you always need an escape route mentally mapped out before you pull into that opposite lane.
Okay, the 4th risk, the side entrance.
Right. So you might have scanned the road, 200 meters ahead, and it looks clear. But that assessment fails if a car unexpectedly pulls onto the main road from a hidden driveway, or side street,
Directly into your path.
directly into your path. While you're on the wrong side of the road, your margin for error just vanished.
And finally, number 5 is about driver competency. Enough speed.
This is all about minimizing your exposure time. You have to be confident you can accelerate rapidly and execute the move quickly. The source is stress. If you can't achieve a quick pass, you are increasing your vulnerability to all the other risks we just talked about.
So a slow pass is a dangerous pass.
A very dangerous pass.
That sets up a pretty frightening mental map of errors. But the source material then shifts focus, arguing that visibility isn't just about weather, it's about the road itself.
Yes. We're talking about optical illusions and physical obstructions that actively reduce your sight lines, leading to, well, gross misjudgment.
Let's start with the blind rise. Why call it that instead of just a hill?
Because the vertical curve completely hides oncoming traffic until they're almost at the crest. If you start a pass before you can see what's coming over that rise, you are driving entirely blind. You have to wait.
Wait until you can see well beyond the top of the hill.
Well beyond it. Then there's the bend, a simple curve in the road. Any curve restricts your visibility. But the critical thing here is the clearance around it, trees, buildings, embankments. If you can't see far enough through the turn to safely complete a full pass, you just can't attempt it.
The third is murky. This is the weather we'd expect, right?
It's a broader term than just fog. It includes, smog or rain, but also sudden things like a dust cloud from a truck or smoke from a roadside fire. The point is, when conditions are murky, you have to accept that all your distances are compressed and your reaction times are shot.
Makes an already risky move even riskier. What's number 4?
Number 4 is the viewing angle, and this is entirely positional.
An error of impatience.
Totally. A driver follows the car they want to pass way too closely. If you leave enough space, we'll talk about the 3-second rule later, you get a much better viewing angle to see the road ahead before you even change lanes.
Instead of having to pull out just to see what's coming.
Which commits you to the maneuver prematurely.
Exactly. And finally, restricted visibility. This, I think, was the most chilling scenario our sources described.
It's extremely dangerous because it is a self-imposed blindness. It's when you pull out to overtake and realize the cars ahead of you are also overtaking. It's a chain pass, a stacked pass.
So they are completely blocking your view.
Completely. And when they finally move back over, an approaching vehicle, maybe doing 60 miles per hour, just snaps into view with no time or space left for you to react.
That visual alone, just relying on the car ahead of you to clear the way before you can even see the danger.
It's enough to encourage serious patience.
If you're in a line of 4 cars and the first 3 are passing, you should not be the 4th.
Absolutely not. The longer that chain, the more likely it is you're driving completely blind.
Okay, let's move from identifying risks to giving our listeners some concrete tools. How do you know if you have enough space? What are the hard numbers?
Right, we have to move beyond just intuition and get into calculation. The metrics? They depend on speed, time, and distance. Our sources recommend that at highway speeds, the entire maneuver should take no more than 10 seconds.
10 seconds. That's the critical time limit for being exposed on the wrong side of the road.
It is.
Let's put that into perspective with math.
Okay, so if you're traveling at 60 miles per hour, you're moving at roughly 88 feet per second. So in that critical 10-second passing window, you will cover about 880 feet.
880 feet. Wow, that's a huge distance. That's, what, nearly 3 American football fields laid end to end?
It is. And you need that 880 feet to be clear ahead of you, plus the space for the car you're passing, plus the distance for you to get back in, plus a buffer for any approaching traffic.
Which is why the sources say you need several hundred meters of clear road.
Several hundred meters, absolutely. You're planning for at least a quarter mile of visibility.
And what's the prep step before you even accelerate?
You use the 3-second rule. Make sure you're at least 3 seconds behind the vehicle you're about to pass before you signal and move out.
So that gives you the run-up space and that better viewing angle we talked about.
Exactly. Without that buffer, you're starting the pass already compromised.
Okay, beyond the math, there are places where overtaking is just flat out illegal. And these are safety zones based on accident data.
A smart way to think about it is to group them by the reason for the rule. So you have visibility-based prohibitions, location-based, and emergency-based.
Let's start with visibility.
You're almost always prohibited from passing on curves and hills. That goes right back to the blind rise and bend traps. The law is just codifying that common sense. And of course, the big visual cue. Solid yellow lines, no passing zones.
And the location-based laws, why are certain structures off limits?
You have to avoid passing at intersections, crosswalks, railroad crossings because of the unpredictability of other traffic. And then you have tunnels and bridges. Passing is illegal there not just because of space, but because there's often no emergency shoulder.
If something goes wrong, you're trapped.
You're trapped. You force a catastrophic blockage or a collision.
And finally, the emergency-based laws.
You must never, ever overtake near-stopped emergency vehicles with their lights flashing or a stopped school bus with its sign out. These are zones of maximum vulnerability for first responders and for children. The law protects them, absolutely.
And failing to follow any of these rules can lead to serious fines, points on your license, and much worse if you cause an accident. The message is clear. If the law says don't pass, it's because the risk is already too high.
Now, moving to more advanced scenarios, let's talk about the complex legality of passing on the right. It's often called undertaking, and the rules can vary a lot.
So when is it generally okay in a place like the U.S.?
Generally, it's permitted only under very specific circumstances. On multi-lane highways where traffic is all going the same way, or on a one-way street. It's also often legal when a car in the left lane is clearly signaling a left turn, as long as there's enough safe room on the right.
But it gets really dangerous on single-lane roads.
On single-lane or undivided roads, passing on the right is almost always illegal and incredibly dangerous. It usually means you're using the shoulder, which is unstable. And it's a key difference globally. The UK, for example, really discourages undertaking unless traffic is slow and heavy.
What about trying to pass at or near traffic lights?
The sources strongly advise against it, and it's often illegal. Traffic lights mean unexpected stopping, starting, turning.
Pedestrians.
Pedestrians. The accident risk is just extremely high. It is always safer to wait for the light and for traffic to stabilize.
Okay, let's shift perspective completely. Our listener isn't the one passing, they're being passed. What's the protocol when you're the one being overtaken?
This is all about defensive driving. The most fundamental thing is to maintain a steady speed and a steady lane position. Don't swerve, don't make any sudden movements.
Is there an expectation to, create more room for them?
If it's safe and legal, you can move slightly to the right within your lane, as long as you're not on the shoulder, just to give them a bit more clearance. But the single most important rule is this. Do not accelerate while being passed.
And we really have to emphasize the why of that rule.
Absolutely. Because the driver passing you has done their calculation, their 10 seconds, their 880 feet, based on your speed being constant. If you speed up, even a little, you instantly erase their safety margin.
You've changed the math on them without any warning.
And you could be jeopardizing their maneuver and causing a head-on collision. It's that serious.
So what if the overtaking driver seems to be struggling? They've misjudged it.
If you see them struggling, maybe an oncoming car is closer than they thought, you should gently reduce your speed. Your goal shifts from just maintaining your own speed to ensuring the safe completion of their maneuver, even if you think they made a bad decision.
It becomes an act of shared safety.
Exactly.
This has been a really necessary education and caution. It's a reminder that overtaking is just such a high-risk, high-calculation maneuver.
Success absolutely relies on that physics awareness, remembering that combined speed impact, knowing those 5 immediate risks, and respecting the hard numbers, needing hundreds of meters clear, and completing the pass in no more than 10 seconds.
So what does this all mean for the driver on a daily basis?
The most effective strategy we synthesized is just prioritizing patience over haste. If you are ever in doubt about visibility or speed or space, the safest, simplest decision is always to just stay put.
Wait for the next unambiguous opportunity.
You might lose 30 seconds, but you maintain 100% certainty of safety.
And we'll leave you with a thought to mull over, specifically about your role when you're being passed. Our sources were clear. Maintaining a steady speed, even slowing down to help a struggling passer, is crucial. But if you were the very first vehicle in a long line of cars being overtaken, and you realize you were setting up that restricted visibility trap for the drivers behind you, how does your personal responsibility to maintain speed change when you know that a slight, deliberate reduction might save the lives of those relying on your position to clear the way? Something to consider next time you see a vehicle pulling up behind you.
Please like, subscribe, and get notified.